Money in itself is a concept. Making money is very emotional. How you see yourself is how you see the money that protrudes or that projects your sense of self-worth.
So if I see myself as a great man, how does it transcend to the way I see money?
It goes beyond just seeing to you ingraining that belief system into your own self.
If I was born poor, does it have any way of triggering me like, I want to strike out of poverty? Or it kind of hold me back?
Who dash monkey banana? Even if you tell yourself you don't believe it, that's on a conscious level. On a subconscious level, it has registered and you have to do something about it.
How do I grow out of that? How do I know if my subconscious is too stingy?
Making money starts first from the inside.
Break it down. Making money could make you feel stressed out, burnout, and have a sense of fatigue. But the reality is you need to know how to balance your mental health in the process of making money. Hello, Your Excellency. It's the Money Mindset with Razak. This topic actually is born out of someone from the community reaching out and saying, it would be good you talk about this. And I would not be speaking on this alone. I've got a guest in the house. Trust me, I used to bring the big fish for you. I've got Toyin Sesi in the house. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Very interesting topic.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, prior to us starting the session, we've been having a kind of catch up and just learning about mental health and making money. Let's start. I mean, recently, like 1, 2, 3 months ago, you hear about Zbest and people lost money to that process. How does it look like between balancing making money and your mental health?
Like talking from what you talked about, how people lost a lot of money in different investments. And this has been happening since way back, since the days of MMM and all sort of Ponzi schemes and everything. And I think there were times we've heard of people committing suicide
Exactly.
for losing money. It's very, very emotional. Making money is very emotional. Retaining money is very emotional. Multiplying money is very emotional. And we ourselves were emotional beings. As human beings, we're emotional beings. So it's very, very, very important for us to understand that we're emotional beings. Making money is emotional. The concept of money itself is emotional. I think when we understand it from this point, it changes our focus and our approach to making money.
Yeah, I remember there's this statement that when it comes to investment, there are two things whenever you heard investment: greed and sentiment. Because that actually determines, you are thinking of how much will I make out of it, and there's a sentiment side to it. But let's start with the real part of this. For somebody watching right now, who is really disturbed that he or she is unable to make money because of the current situation, what is that first set of advice to them you've got for them?
You know, it's like you said, we've been discussing before the interview, and I just really wish we had more time. But money in itself is a concept. Money in itself is beyond the legal tender. It's beyond the cash that we see in the bank. So there are principles to it, and there are step-by-step bricks. It's like you want to build a house. The step-by-step layers to it. So making money is beyond trading, buying and selling. Making money is beyond the income you receive.
So what is it?
Like I said, making money starts first from the inside. It's yeah. I'm a champion of telling people, I'm a champion of this statement, that how you handle money or how you treat money is the same way you handle yourself and how you treat yourself.
Okay.
So whatever beliefs you have about yourself, it translates into the money that you are handling or you have.
Break it down.
So I'm going to break it down with examples.
Okay.
The concept of life in itself is built up of with belief systems, cultural belief systems, what your peers talk about, your upbringing, that's your background, how you were programmed. We're all being programmed. Everybody is being programmed. They say your nature is how you were nurtured or how you were programmed. Everybody has a software running in their brain or in their mind. So without being too technical, right? How you were being brought up to accept yourself and to love yourself, the self-esteem that you have, right? Your sense of worthiness, right? Most times we attach it to money. Why? Because money is the number one, how would I put it? Money is the number one legal tender in the whole universe. It is what gives you access to freedom, is what gives you access to whatever you want. So your sense of worthiness and your sense of freedom, you attach that together. And what is linking that primarily is money. Just like in the olden days when people would go out to hunt, a man was seen worthy with what he brings home, the game or the animal that he brings home. A woman was seen worthy by what she does, how she caters for the house and how many children she has. And over time, we evolved, life evolved. But our brains, the amygdala and all of that really didn't go past that sense of worth being what you bring home or what you're able to do. Your sense of worthiness was still tied with that. So how you see yourself is how you see the money that that protrudes or that projects your sense of self-worth. And
so what are those examples of how I can see myself? So if I see myself as a great man, how does it transcend to the way I see money?
So, like I said, it has to do with the belief systems.
Okay.
And then, like I said, you're seeing yourself is like your perception of a great person. If you have the belief system that you're a great person, and then you still have this sense of self-worth deep down inside of you that you're not worthy of more, it's going to speak to your finances. You will not be able to make that much more. So it's different when you have just the mental concept of I'm a great person, but deep down, neurologically, neuroscience, or maybe your nervous system hasn't gotten that whole entire concept yet. You will not be able to translate it into the money you are making or the ability to make more. So it goes beyond just seeing, to you ingraining that belief system into your own self.
Let me help our audience who are listening now.
Okay.
And this question is still from the person who asked the question, who brought up this topic.
How does socioeconomic status or growing up in a poverty like me that I grew up in Ajegule affect adult mental health and financial habits?
Born in Ajegule, where I was born or how I grew up, how does it influence my financial habits? How? If I was born poor, does it have any way of triggering me like, I want to strike out of poverty? Or it kind of hold me back and start making me feel, I can't go beyond this level. How?
You know, I mentioned how we were being brought up as well, our backgrounds. It says a lot. What we've seen around us, it says a lot. It translates to our current reality. So if you have been trained in the background and the environment's there, and everybody speaks the same language, that we cannot afford this. Favorite common term in Nigeria, who dash monkey banana? And it's the saying that you hear every day. You're definitely going to believe that. Even if you tell yourself you don't believe it, that's on a conscious level. On a subconscious level, it has registered and you have to do something about it. or else it's going to affect every single thing you do. Even if you rise today, the stories of people that rose from poverty, from grass to grace, and they lost all the money. Why? Consciously, they had the projection that I could do it, but in their subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind, you won't even know what. That's why it's called a subconscious mind. You're not even aware of it.
How do I grow out of that?
First of all, you need to speak with a professional therapist, because there's no blanket answer to everybody's
Can you just give some examples?
But
that can help
generally,
people?
how you would know, you have to know the language of your subconscious mind, your own subconscious mind. What is the language of my subconscious mind? And how does this emanate? How does this show? It shows in the language, your own speech as well. It shows in the language, what you say about money. It shows in how you behave with money. It shows in how you interact with others with money. It shows in how you want to plan for money. Some people, the way they plan for money, it looks as if they will never see the money again. Either they are too stingy to themselves, or they are extravagant. There's no middle point.
Does that tie a bit to those issue of that popular 5 money personality type, in terms of, I think those are, it comes to things around being a saver, being an investor, being the type that is a bit too stingy.
Yes, of course.
Or being the type that want to be the giver.
Yes, so, it does tie to it. It's all as a function of how you were nurtured, and sometimes to genetics. There's something they call epigenetics. So sometimes it might not necessarily be how you're nurtured, but it could also be partly epigenetics as well that forms those personalities.
So how do I know if my subconscious is too stingy? How? Can you give me some examples?
Okay, examples like we said, you could be stingy towards yourself or stingy towards others. It shows in your spending habits. That's the easiest way, your spending habits, how you talk to people about money. I know of very rich people, and they really don't give value to certain things. They would prefer to invest in their business than invest in their health. And it also makes sense, because if you don't invest in your health, then you can't run business very well. So that's it. You are stingy towards it because of the mindset you have that, oh, this business, it gives me my self-worth, and it's an external thing. You know, people will see me successful on the outside. My health, no, that one can't wait. I prefer for this business to run and for people to see me successful on the outside. So yeah, it shows in your spending habits. It shows in how you talk to other people about money. Some people will give you money to throw a party rather than give you money to invest in your business.
So, but is that not common in our culture, where we see people, somebody is not feeling fine, asking for money, people are not giving, when the person died, people throw the money out for party?
Exactly. Or even the person will come and tell you, I want to do my graduation party. Some people even fly, if the person is abroad, some people will prefer to fly out there rather than maybe the person can always start business and then they will not invest in the person's business.
Can you imagine? But let's start looking at this. If I am financially stressed up, how do I start knowing? What are those elements I can start using to measure, like 4 or 5 tips? Because sometimes that urge, I want to make more. To make more, and sometimes you don't even know you are becoming mentally stressed. What are those ways or symptoms if for that person who is watching us right now?
So yeah, financial stress is real. Financial stress is just the same as any other kind of stress, and it all starts from, like I said, the nervous system, the subconscious mind. All these things are very, very important for you to learn. How you would know you're financially stressed is anxiety. There's always that. You're just always very anxious, always on your phone checking what's the next deal. How am I going to make the next deal? A feeling of depression. Maybe you're not just happy until somebody pays a certain amount of 7 or 9 figures into your account. A feeling of not being content. You're not just, whatever it is, you're not content. Even you might make $1 billion today and you're not, instead of it to just take that time and be grateful to God and that the whole elements of the universe converge to make sure that happens, you're on to the next one. Like, how can we make 10 billion? So feeling of never being satisfied. Feeling of lethargy. You just don't want to stand up from where you are. You're like, after all, I tried and I tried. It's not going to work. You know, you just throw in the towel, you just give up. So these are like few symptoms. But like I said, they all show in your nervous system and they all run in your subconscious mind. So when you start, even constant headache sometimes too, that one is a normal thing for Nigerians. So people are just having constant, that might be a sign of your body telling you something is wrong, and it might be financial stress. Lower back pain is another form of financial stress. People that suffer lower back pain, it's a thing. Metaphysics talks about that a whole lot. Yeah.
Now let me ask. You talked about sometimes until you receive alert. So for example, if I receive alert, you know, naturally there's this subconscious, you receive message, people want to check like, is it a bank alert? And once people see it like this, a bank alert, the first thing they check, is it debit or credit? Is that also financial stress?
Of course. Because
there's that way your eye lights up like,
yeah,
I don't get alert.
Yeah, so at least what we should be doing is training our nervous system to be happy in every situation. You don't have, at least be happy in every situation. And it should not be a function of either you have money or not.
Okay, let's hold it there. I'm sure a lot of people want to hear more about what are those symptoms, particularly when it comes to, losing money, but also when you make money, how do you manage your emotions such that you don't run into something else? So guys, I'm sure you would like to come back next week and watch the second episode. I'm still going to keep Toyin Sese in the house, and we'll be talking about the other part of money and your mental well-being. Kindly click on the subscribe button, like, and I would really love to read your comments. I'm even sure she would be willing to respond to some of your comments in the chat box there. So please feel free to do that and share with your friends. Hello, Your Excellency.